Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive into today's current events. Of course, with that UPSC lens that we always have.
Always.
Ready to unpack some of today's headlines.
Oh, absolutely. We've got a fascinating mix today. Art, culture, a bit of environment, even a dash of international news, and we even have some animal trivia in there.
Okay, well, let's jump right into it. Our first stop is Kashmir.
Oh,
It
interesting.
involves Kashmir papier-mâché.
Beautiful.
It is, but the artisans are crafting models of dodos.
Okay, so that's an interesting connection to make right away. You're probably already familiar with GI tags as a UPSC aspirant, but in the context of Kashmiri papier-mâché, they play a particularly interesting role. This art form, known for its intricate designs and vibrant colors, received a GI tag. And that signifies its unique origin and the specialized skills of these artisans.
So that GI tag is really a testament to the cultural and economic value of this art form. But why dodos? What's the connection?
Well, that's where this story gets even more interesting. The dodo, although extinct, happens to be the national emblem of Mauritius.
Right.
And recently, over 50,000 papier-mâché dodos were shipped from Kashmir to Mauritius for Christmas exports. It's really this unique example of cultural exchange
Oh, wow.
through art inspired by shared history.
Even if that history involves extinction.
Right. Even if
It-
that history involves extinction.
It's a reminder that the UPSC exam is not just about rote memorization. It's about understanding these interconnected stories
Yes.
that weave together culture, history, and current events.
Absolutely.
And speaking of balancing tradition with modern needs, the recent developments concerning the Thrissur Pooram festival offer a fascinating case study.
Yes. Thrissur Pooram, often referred to as the mother of all Poorams, is this grand spectacle. Color, music, ritual, deeply rooted in Kerala's cultural heritage. It dates back to the late 18th century.
Wow.
And it involves a procession with decorated elephants, traditional orchestra music, and elaborate rituals. It's just this vibrant expression of Kerala's cultural identity.
But like with many traditional events, there are increasing concerns about safety and animal welfare, and the Kerala High Court has stepped in to address these issues.
Yes, the court has issued directives to ensure the safety of both the people and the elephants.
Yeah.
These include strict distance regulations, so 3 meters between elephants,
Oh.
8 meters between the elephants and the public,
Wow.
and a 100-meter buffer zone for fireworks.
Oh, wow.
They've
That's pretty-
also mandated rest periods for the elephants between appearances.
Good.
So it's a really good example of how the legal system can play a role in adapting traditions to modern ethical standards, something that aligns perfectly with that UPSC focus on governance and social justice.
Absolutely. And it reflects a growing awareness of animal welfare and the need to ensure that cultural practices evolve sustainably and ethically.
Exactly.
Now let's shift gears from tradition to innovation.
Okay.
The Youth CoLab National Innovation Challenge is back for its 7th edition, and this year's focus is particularly relevant
Yes.
for those interested in social development and inclusive policies.
Absolutely. And Youth CoLab is this platform for young entrepreneurs to develop innovative solutions to pressing social problems. It was co-created by the United Nations Development Program and the City Foundation back in 2017 and launched in India in 2019 in collaboration with NITI Aayog's Atal Innovation Mission.
Okay.
What's particularly impressive is their commitment to inclusivity. The 2024-25 challenge specifically aims to empower young entrepreneurs, including those with disabilities, to develop solutions that enhance the lives of persons with disabilities.
That's incredible.
It's fantastic.
So we're talking about innovations in assistive technology, inclusive education, and accessible care models.
Exactly, and it aligns perfectly with the UN's Sustainable Development Goals
Right.
and India's commitment to social inclusion. For those of you aspiring to be civil servants, this is a prime example of how international organizations, government initiatives, and the private sector can collaborate to drive positive change. Understanding these partnerships and their impact on social development is crucial for anyone aiming to contribute to India's progress.
Now let's talk about infrastructure, but with a sustainable twist.
Okay.
India has just unveiled Asia's first highway made with bio-bitumen.
That's incredible.
What exactly is bio-bitumen?
So bio-bitumen is this greener alternative to traditional asphalt. While conventional bitumen is derived from petroleum, a finite resource with, the environmental concerns,
Right.
bio-bitumen is sourced from renewable materials, things like vegetable oils or synthetic polymers.
So it's like swapping out fossil fuels for a plant-based option?
Exactly.
In road construction. That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
And what about the practical benefits? Does it perform as well?
Yeah, so the benefits go beyond just sustainability. Bio-bitumen often has a lower carbon footprint, is less toxic, and can even be more durable than traditional asphalt.
Really?
This 1 kilometer stretch of bio-bitumen highway is a pilot project,
Right.
but it has the potential to revolutionize the way we think about road construction and contribute significantly to India's efforts to combat climate change.
It's an inspiring example of how India is pushing the boundaries of innovation to create a more sustainable future. And speaking of India's role on the global stage, we have some exciting news from the United Nations. Former Supreme Court Judge Madame B. Loucour has been appointed chairperson of the UN Internal Justice Council. This appointment signifies India's growing role in shaping international legal discourse, particularly in areas of human rights and accountability within international organizations. It's something you'll want to keep an eye on, as it could signal future trends in India's foreign policy. Can you break down what this council does and why this appointment is significant?
Yeah, so the UN Internal Justice Council, or IJC, plays a vital role in ensuring fairness and accountability within the UN system. It's responsible for selecting judges for the UN Dispute Tribunal and the UN Appeals Tribunal, which handle internal disputes involving UN staff members.
Okay.
The IJC also provides advice to the General Assembly on the administration of justice within the UN.
So it's like the judicial watchdog of the UN,
Exactly.
ensuring that everyone within the organization is treated fairly and has access to due process.
Precisely. And Justice Locour's appointment to this prestigious position highlights India's growing influence in international organizations and its commitment to upholding the rule of law on a global level.
It's something that definitely aligns with the UPSC's emphasis on India's foreign policy and its role in international affairs. Now, before we move on, let's take a quick detour into the fascinating world of cephalopods,
Yes.
those masters of disguise and intelligence in our oceans.
Fascinating creatures.
What makes these creatures like octopuses, squid, and cuttlefish so remarkable?
I mean, their intelligence is remarkable. Cephalopods are incredibly intelligent creatures with some truly mind-blowing abilities.
I remember reading about octopuses unscrewing jars to get to food.
Oh, yeah. They're amazing.
Talk about impressive problem solving.
It's really incredible. They're masters of camouflage, able to change color and texture to blend seamlessly with their surroundings.
Right.
They have complex nervous systems, sophisticated eyes, and exhibit problem-solving skills that rival some mammals.
I hadn't considered the ethical implications of cephalopod intelligence before.
Yeah, it's a growing area of concern. Their intelligence is raising ethical questions about how we treat them.
Right.
We're recognizing that these aren't just simple sea creatures, but complex beings with the potential for pain and suffering.
Oh, wow.
It's pushing us to rethink our relationship with the animal kingdom
Yeah.
and consider the ethical implications of our actions.
It's a reminder that even in the depths of the ocean, we can find ethical dilemmas that resonate with the UPSC's focus on ethics and integrity in public service. And speaking of unexpected animal behavior, get ready for this one.
Oh, what is it?
Scientists have observed Ethiopian wolves drinking nectar.
Oh, wow. Tell me more.
Wha-
This is a prime example of how nature constantly surprises us.
Right.
The Ethiopian wolf, a highly endangered species found only in the Ethiopian highlands, is a specialized rodent hunter, but it turns out they have a sweet tooth, too.
Wait, so these carnivores are acting like pollinators?
It seems that way.
That's incredible.
It is. It's the first time a large carnivore has been observed actively pollinating flowers. The wolves spend a significant amount of time in flower fields, with their muzzles getting dusted with pollen as they drink nectar, which they then transfer to other flowers. It's a remarkable example of the interconnectedness of ecosystems and how even apex predators can play unexpected roles in maintaining biodiversity.
This is definitely a story that highlights the importance of conservation and understanding the delicate balance of ecosystems.
Absolutely.
Now let's shift our focus back to agriculture
Okay.
and discuss the challenges faced by farmer-producer organizations, or FPOs, in India, a topic that's been analyzed by the Indian Council for Research on International Economic Relations.
Okay.
For those unfamiliar with FPOs, can you explain what they are and what role they play in Indian agriculture?
Sure. FPOs are essentially collectives of farmers
Oh.
who come together to improve their bargaining power, access resources, and enhance their livelihoods.
Okay.
They operate on the principle of the farmers, by the farmers, for the farmers, with ownership and decision-making lying entirely with the member farmers.
So it's like a cooperative model
Exactly.
that helps small-scale farmers compete in a larger market.
Precisely. FPOs can help farmers access better inputs, technology, credit, and market linkages, ultimately leading to increased income and improved agricultural practices. They're recognized as crucial for strengthening the agricultural sector and empowering farmers.
And I understand there's a legal framework that supports the formation and functioning of FPOs.
Yes, absolutely. FPOs can be registered under the Companies Act or as cooperative societies, providing them with a legal structure and ensuring their operations are transparent and accountable.
Okay.
The Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium, or SFA, plays a key role in promoting and supporting FPOs across the country.
It sounds like FPOs are a vital part of India's agricultural landscape, and understanding their challenges and potential is crucial for anyone aspiring to work in the field of agricultural policy or rural development. Now we conclude today's deep dive with a sobering reminder of the impacts of climate change. Sagar Island, a place of religious significance in West Bengal, is facing a rising threat from the Bay of Bengal. Can you tell us a little about Sagar Island and why this situation is raising concerns?
Sure. Sagar Island, located in the Ganges Delta, is a place of immense religious importance for Hindus.
Okay.
It's home to the Kapil Muni temple dedicated to the sage Kapil Muni. Every year during the Makar Sankranti festival, millions of pilgrims gather on Sagar Island for the Ganges Sagar Mela, a massive religious gathering.
So it's not just a geographical location.
No.
It's a place deeply intertwined with cultural and religious beliefs.
Exactly. And that's what makes the current situation so concerning.
Yeah.
Rising sea levels driven by climate change are eroding the coastline of Sagar Island, putting the Kapil Muni temple and the entire island at risk.
Oh, wow.
It's a stark reminder of how climate change is not just an abstract environmental issue, but a real threat that can impact cultural and religious heritage sites around the world.
That's a poignant note to end on.
It is.
It underscores how climate change has far-reaching consequences affecting not just the environment, but also cultural and social landscapes.
Absolutely. And it's a reminder that as future policymakers, you'll need to grapple with complex challenges that require interdisciplinary thinking and a nuanced understanding of the interconnectedness of various issues.
Absolutely, and this deep dive has given us a glimpse into just how diverse and interconnected those issues can be. From ancient art forms and innovative infrastructure to the surprising behavior of endangered species and the challenges faced by farmers, today's news highlights the importance of staying informed and engaged.
And that's what we're here for, to help you connect the dots, analyze the implications, and develop the critical thinking skills you need to excel in your UPSC journey. Well, several things caught my attention, but the story about Justice Lokur's appointment to the UN IJC stands out.
Yeah.
This isn't just a routine appointment.
Right.
It signals a shift in the global legal landscape. India's legal expertise is gaining recognition on the international stage.
And
that's something UPSC could definitely ask about.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They might ask about the role of the IJC, India's contribution to international law, or even about Justice Lokur's career and legal philosophy.
Wow.
So I'd encourage our listeners to really dig deeper into this.
That's a great point. It's not just about knowing the headline. It's about understanding the context and potential implications.
Yeah.
It's that analytical depth that UPSC is looking for.
Exactly.
And it reminds me of another point you made earlier about the Ethiopian wolves acting as pollinators.
Ah, yes. That's another one that could easily appear in the exam.
Right.
It perfectly illustrates the interconnectedness of ecosystems, a key concept in environmental science. UPSC could frame a question around the role of apex predators in maintaining biodiversity, the importance of conservation efforts for endangered species, or even the impact of climate change on delicate ecosystems.
It's those seemingly small details that can often make a big difference in your understanding.
Absolutely.
And it highlights how crucial it is to stay updated on current scientific discoveries,
Yes.
even those that seem unrelated to traditional UPSC subjects.
Absolutely. The UPSC exam is designed to test your awareness of the world around you, and that includes staying abreast of developments in science, technology, and the environment.
Now, before we get too carried away with the specific details,
Okay.
let's take a step back and remind our listeners about the broader themes we've touched upon today. We started with a fascinating example of how tradition and modernity intersect.
Yes.
In the case of the Thrissur Pooram festival,
Yes.
it's a reminder that cultural practices are constantly evolving and that the law plays a crucial role in ensuring that this evolution is both inclusive and ethical.
Absolutely.
And from there, we explored the role of innovation in addressing social challenges. The YouthCo Lab National Innovation Challenge is a great example of how young people are using their creativity and entrepreneurial spirit to create a more inclusive and accessible world. It's a theme that aligns perfectly with the UPSC's focus on social justice and sustainable development.
Yes, it is.
And speaking of sustainability, we saw how India is leading the way in eco-friendly infrastructure with the development of Asia's first bio-bitumen highway.
It is a great example.
It's a story that showcases India's commitment to tackling climate change and its potential to become a global leader in sustainable technologies.
Right.
And let's not forget about India's growing role on the global stage.
Yes.
The appointment of Justice Lokur to the UNIJC highlights India's increasing influence in international organizations and its commitment to upholding the rule of law at a global level.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that the UPSC exam isn't just about understanding India's internal dynamics, but also about comprehending its place in the world and its contributions to global affairs.
Precisely.
And that brings us to our final point, the interconnectedness of seemingly disparate events.
Yes.
Whether it's the creation of dodo models in Kashmir or the nectar-sipping habits of Ethiopian wolves.
Fascinating stories.
Today's news highlights the importance of seeing the connections between different fields of knowledge.
Yes, that's a crucial skill for the exam.
It's about understanding that everything is connected from the economy to the environment,
Yes.
from culture to science, and from local issues to global challenges.
Precisely. And that interconnectedness is what makes the UPSC exam so challenging and so rewarding. It requires you to think critically, analyze deeply, and connect the dots in ways that you might not have imagined before.
So for all our aspiring civil servants out there,
Yes.
here's a quick recap of some potential UPSC questions that could emerge from today's deep dive.
Great idea.
Let's start with the GI tag and its connection to Kashmiri papier-mâché and the dodo models.
Okay.
UPSC could ask about the significance of GI tags, the process of obtaining one, or the impact of GI tags on the economic development of specific regions.
Good point.
They could also ask about the history of the dodo, its cultural significance as the national emblem of Mauritius, and the potential of such collaborations for cultural exchange and economic growth.
Absolutely.
Moving on to the Thrissur Pooram festival, UPSC might focus on the legal aspects of balancing tradition with modern concerns, the role of the judiciary in protecting animal welfare, or the ethical considerations involved in managing cultural events that involve animals.
Those are all very likely questions.
The Youth Cut Lab initiative offers a wealth of potential questions related to social entrepreneurship innovation for inclusive development, the role of international organizations in supporting sustainable development goals, and the specific challenges faced by entrepreneurs with disabilities.
Yes. Definitely a key area to focus on.
Bio-bitumen and India's sustainable infrastructure push could lead to questions about the environmental impact of traditional asphalt production, the benefits of bio-bitumen, the challenges of scaling up bio-bitumen production, and India's efforts to achieve its climate change goals.
It's definitely a hot topic.
Justice Lokur's appointment to the UNIJC could prompt questions about the functions of the IJC, its role in ensuring accountability within the UN system, India's contributions to international law, and the growing influence of Indian legal experts on the global stage.
It's a significant development for sure.
The cephalopod intelligence discussion could lead to questions about animal cognition, ethical considerations in scientific research involving animals, the evolving understanding of animal sentience, and the implications for animal welfare policies.
It's a fascinating and complex area.
The Ethiopian wolves pollinating flowers could spark questions about the importance of biodiversity, the interconnectedness of ecosystems, the role of apex predators in maintaining ecological balance, and the threats posed by habitat loss and climate change to endangered species.
It's definitely a great example of how nature can surprise us.
And finally, the challenges faced by FPOs could lead to questions about the role of FPOs in empowering farmers, the legal framework governing their formation and operation, the support provided by institutions like SFAC, and the barriers hindering their effective functioning.
It's a crucial topic for agricultural policy.
And don't forget about Sagar Island and the impact of climate change on cultural and religious heritage sites.
Yes, that's a powerful example.
UPSC could ask about the science behind rising sea levels, the vulnerability of coastal communities, the measures being taken to mitigate the effects of climate change, or the cultural and social implications of climate-induced displacement.
It's a reminder of the wide-ranging impacts of climate change.
Remember, these are just a few examples. The key takeaway is to approach current affairs with a curious mind,
Yes.
a critical eye, and a constant awareness of the interconnected nature of the world around us.
Absolutely. It's not just about memorizing facts and figures. It's
Right.
about developing a deeper understanding of the forces shaping our world. It's about connecting the dots, seeing the patterns, and developing that analytical edge that will set you apart in the UPSC exam.
Well said. It's not just about acing the exam, though.
Right.
It's about equipping yourselves to be informed and engaged citizens capable of tackling the complex challenges that India faces.
Precisely, the skills you hone while preparing for the UPSC will serve you well throughout your life, whether you become a civil servant or choose a different path.
So as we wrap up today's deep dive, what's one key piece of advice you would give to our listeners, something that they can take away and apply to their UPSC preparation?
I would say cultivate curiosity.
Okay.
Don't just passively consume information, question everything. Dig deeper. Explore those unexpected connections. The more you engage with the material, the more it will stick with you, and the better you'll be able to analyze and apply it in the exam.
That's excellent advice. It's about transforming from passive learners to active inquirers. And remember, the UPSC journey is a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. Pace yourself, stay focused, and most importantly, enjoy the process of learning and discovery.
I couldn't agree more. The journey of learning is just as valuable as the destination. And on that note, it's time to wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive.
Okay.
A huge thank you to expert speaker for sharing your incredible insights and expertise.
It's been a pleasure. I always enjoy diving into these fascinating topics with you.
And to all our amazing listeners, keep those UPSC dreams alive. Stay curious, stay engaged, and keep pushing yourselves to learn and grow. If you found today's deep dive helpful, please hit that subscribe button and share with your fellow UPSC aspirants. Every like and share helps us reach more future civil servants.
And don't forget to leave us a comment letting us know what resonated with you the most from today's episode. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, happy studying and best of luck on your UPSC journey.